Recruiter here to review your resumes. The resume we have up first is a software engineer with 10 plus years of experience that has gotten practically 0 interviews. It takes them over 150 applications to get a single interview. When I'm going to review this resume and show you why this resume is garbage, because any resume that gets you 1 interview per 150 applications is garbage. And when people follow my method, they get 1 interview per 7 applications. So I do more than tech, but right now the tech market is in the toilet. So like 90% of the resumes that are sent to me are tech, but I do accounting and everything else. So what do we need for a full stack software engineer? We need degree, TypeScript, JavaScript, HTML, CSS, RESTful API, REST API, SQL, cloud, any of those, but you do have to mention them specifically. You can't just say cloud, you need to say AWS or GCP or Azure. And if you noted, I did not say anything else beyond that, so I do not want AWS and S3, I think it was. So make sure it's only just the cloud. Backend, Python, C#, .NET, Java, React, React.js, Angular, Node.js, Vue.js, DevOps, CI/CD, Agile, Git, TypeScript, JavaScript, HTML, CSS, TypeScript, JavaScript, HTML, CSS, TypeScript, JavaScript, HTML, CSS. Look at me. I don't care that everybody has it. You need it. If you do not have TypeScript, JavaScript, HTML, CSS in the first line of your resume, you are probably going to get rejected. And all of these need to be in qualification format, not keyword format. And a qualification is what you did, which could be considered a keyword, which is what those are, how you did it, and the non-technical reason you did it, along with where you did it. If it is not those 4 things, not counting years of experience or degree, it does not count for your resume. So that is what I'm looking for, and recruiters and hiring managers only have 20 seconds to find what we need. If we cannot find it in those 20 seconds, we yeet and delete your resume. So 20 seconds is on the clock, and go. Okay, this doesn't matter. This doesn't matter. Where's your education? Master's. Okay, you got a master's in science. Okay. Then we go, and let's see, served as a key contributor across multiple clients, delivering scalable, no, delivered full stack across energy platforms. Time. That was it. That was all the time I had. This is why this resume is bad, is you wasted the entire first page to tell me your life story, and it's not relevant for you getting hired. Because remember what I said, it needs to be in qualification format. This is not in qualification format. These are random keywords strewn about. So the problem with this person's resume, besides the fact that I didn't even get to the bullet points I actually needed, is all of this might not even exist because none of this is relevant. The only single time you will need a summary is if you are relocating, explaining a non-H-1B or OPT visa, or you are switching industries. And I don't mean going from a back end to front end. I mean going from a full stack software engineer to a professional baker. That is the level of change that you would need to put it. So, since it does not seem that you are relocating, it does not seem that you need to explain a visa, and it does not seem that you are switching industries, this entire section is irrelevant. And if you noted, I had to scroll all the way down here to get to your education, which I don't need to know when you graduated or when you started. I just need to know that you graduated. And since you both have 2 bachelors in computer, if you have 1 bachelor and 1 master in computer science, you can remove the bachelor's because the master supersedes it. So, and again, you don't need to tell me when you graduated, just that you graduated, so you can put status graduated. So formatting wise, this is terrible, but remember, the bullet points are the most important part, but this is why you're struggling, is this entire section is blank. It does not matter if you said TypeScript in there. It matters if you say TypeScript here, which you have been there for almost 10 years. Which, I don't know why you said 10 years. Not actually quite 10 years. Very close, though, but that's not the biggest issue. So formatting-wise, you need to do this. This is how you do it. This is how you do. Sorry, this is what it should look like. This is how you do it. I got 4 hours of sleep last night. I went to bed at midnight and my body said, hey, Lee, you know what's great? What if you just woke up at 4 for no reason? So I'm extra tired today, and that may mean I miss some stuff that I would normally catch. And if that's the case, well, unfortunately, that kind of stinks, but if your resume is good enough to get past a recruiter that has gotten 0 hours of sleep, or that is currently sick, or maybe their dog woke them up, or their child, then your resume is fantastic. So this is the formatting you should use. This is how it should look. Education should be up here, not this. Now, on to the bullet points themselves. This is a meaningless bullet point. Served as a key contributor across multiple client engagements, delivering scalable software solutions for business and operation needs. I don't think there's anything in that bullet point that I need, that I could use to move you forward. So, delivered full stack features across large scale healthcare, insurance, and energy platforms. That's good. You tell me what it is. I don't know if I necessarily need the word full stack, but it's still fine. Using React, okay, good. TypeScript, good. Node.js, Java, Spring Boot. Supporting high availability production across thousands of you. This is a good sentence. Would I prefer you also put JavaScript, HTML, CSS here? Yeah, but this is actually pretty good. This is a good way to write it. The problem is nobody's going to scroll that far down. Not a single person is going to scroll that far down. No one's going to go all the way down here. And if you noticed, I didn't even get to here. I actually stopped reading like right about here because this was so bulky. And this is a big reason that a lot of senior devs and senior people in general with a ton of experience get rejected, is they try to cram everything they've done in 10 plus years into a single resume. And unless you're a director, like high level director, it doesn't work. Your resume is a snapshot of the last 10 years. Like there's no real point to putting all of this stuff. It's a bunch of hot dogs, which I'll go over. So I like this sentence down here. Again, I would prefer you put JavaScript, HTML, CSS here somewhere, but still overall solid. This is how I want you to write it. Pretty good job. No one's going to get to it, though. Designed RESTful APIs good on Spring Boot. You already mentioned Spring Boot. You don't need to mention it again. You want to mention the same keyword once per job. So if there were 2 jobs, you can mention Spring Boot in each of them, and that would be good. But since there's only 1 job, you only want to mention it once. All right? That is the rule, because your space is at a premium, so you don't want to repeat stuff. Sometimes you're going to be forced to, but your goal should be to try not to. Adopting as the integration standard applies, blah, blah, blah. Okay. This is a bad sentence because it does not tell me the non-technical reason. So this is a bad sentence. It also only has 1 keyword. You want a minimum of 3, a maximum of 6. This is a good one because it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And to clarify, it tells me how you did it and the non-technical reasons you did it. That's why this sentence works. And none of these work, okay? That's why. Centralized process for spring audit races. I mean, you kind of tell me reason it did it, but there's nothing in there I can use. SQL queries, okay, good, finally something. Stored procedure supporting reporting pipelines, reducing average query time by 45%. Nobody cares about that. So again, this only has 1. So this is why your resume is bad, and this is why it's garbage, is I have to go all the way down to here to the second page to find the first bullet point I can use, which, credit where credit's due, it is a good bullet point. And then the next 2 only have 1 thing I need. You know what I don't see? I don't see JavaScript, HTML, CSS. You know what I don't see? I don't see any cloud. I did see backend. I don't see DevOps. I don't see CI/CD. I don't see Agile. I don't see Git. And I want to be honest with you. Nobody's even scrolling this far down in the first place. Like, it would be a miracle if someone could get to the second page to even read this because of all the junk in the way. And most of these sentences are filled with hot dogs. So what I mean by that is I want you to imagine that you're hungry. You go to a restaurant and you say, I want a cheeseburger with pickles. And the waiter says, all right, cool. They come back and they bring you a hot dog with cheese and pickles. And they say, here is your cheeseburger. And you say, excuse me, I think there's been an error. I wanted a cheeseburger with pickles. This is a hot dog with cheese and pickles. And the waiter says, no, this is what you wanted. A hot dog has meat like a hamburger. A hot dog can have cheese like a hamburger. A hot dog can have buns like a hamburger, and it can have pickles like a hamburger. So thus, when you said you wanted a cheeseburger, what you actually wanted was a hot dog. You would then walk away without paying because that is not what you wanted. And that is the exact same thing here. Grew unit and test integration coverage by 85% through JUnit test suites, directly reducing production deficits and enabling confident frequent releases. That's not related to what I'm looking for up here. So this is why you are struggling to get a job, is your bullet points are bad, your formatting is horrible, and your resume is garbage. That doesn't mean you're garbage. You could be the best software engineer in the world, but how good you are at being a software engineer does not relate to how easy it is to get a job. If it did, the world would be a better place, but it is not. You could be the best software engineer in the world and still not get a single interview, which is why I am here to help you get those interviews. So if you ever needed more help, you can always join my live stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. PST on both twitch.tv/headlessheadhunter and right here on YouTube. And thank you very much to my members who support me. You can be a member in the link below. They get access to videos a little bit early. Just want to say thank you very much. I appreciate it. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and we're going to the next resume. This is a resume of another full-stack software engineer. So we already know what we need. I don't need to repeat it. This person is actually getting a 1 to 25 or so ratio, which is pretty good. I want to let everybody know, even though my method usually gets people a 1 in 7, anything under 1 interview per 50 applications is good. So this is a successful resume. Are there ways to improve it? Yes, but this does work. A 1 in 25 good resume. So I am expecting to find what I need in 20 seconds, even if there's a couple of flaws. So 20 seconds on the clock and go. Architected built a platform using Node.js. Okay, good. This is irrelevant. Node.js is relevant. We already need this. TypeScript, good. Built CI/CD with that. And education and AWS using infrastructure as code. And time. Yeah, I really want JavaScript, HTML, CSS here. Do they even have it? JavaScript? No, they don't. So, does this still work? Yes. Is the reason they are not getting a ton of interviews because they get JavaScript, HTML, CSS? Yes. If they just put those in the first line, this would probably go from a 1 in 25 to a 1 in 15. That's how important it is to have that. You do have a lot of the other stuff that is good. The other thing is I would prefer you use a different format, right? Like this. And I need you to do a little bit better about the non-technical reasons. So, yeah, you need better non-technical reasons. But, let's see, is there anything else here? Oh, improving usability. Yeah, I need better non-technical ones. Oh, here we go. This is what they love. I was wondering why this is getting a 1 in 50, because this was not a 1 in 50 to me. The more I'm looking at it, I don't think it's the worst thing ever, but I don't think it's a 1 in 50. And then I read this line, and I went, okay, I get it. Companies like this, one of the very, very few numbers that you want in your resume, not counting dates of employment or phone number, is the number of users, and led front-end architecture and feature delivery for a multi-role LMS platform serving 20K users, building React and TypeScript interfaces for students and teachers. Not only is pretty a good sentence, you still need one more keyword there, but this is the type of stuff they like. They like the users. If you can give us a big amount of users, that for startups particularly, they will like that, especially if you architected it. So this is why I think this one is getting really a 1 in 25, which also they only apply to 50 jobs, so it's not quite enough ratio. Like, you really need to be doing about 50 jobs a week for about 3 weeks to determine if it's good or bad. So I'm expecting this to probably go down a little bit to maybe a 1 in 40 after they keep applying for a couple of weeks, but I do know there are a bunch of startups that would love this sentence in particular. So Have better non-technical reasons. Add JavaScript, HTML, CSS, because remember, this is the stuff that's needed. Have AWS somewhere here, because again, you have it in a skills section, but not up top, and it doesn't matter if it's not in a bullet point. And this is a hot dog, so you can delete it right here. And you do want to tell me your dates of employment here. This may just be that you removed them because you wanted to be anonymous, and that's fine. And you also want to remove this sentence because it is also a hot dog. So keep these, add some more of these, put JavaScript to HTML, CSS, and then, yeah, I really like this. Just add like one or two other things to the sentence, and you should be pretty good because this is the type of stuff that they would want. Next resume. Before I go into this resume, I want to let you all know the previous resume was their second iteration, and while it was not 100% perfect in following my advice and had some flaws, it has already gotten them, like I said, 1 in 40 or 1 in 25 interviews, because their resume they used before that got them nothing. So even my incomplete advice on that person's resume is still leading to a ton of interviews. So what we need for a FPGA engineer is degree, FPGA, systems, Verilog or VHDL, DSP, agile iterative development lifecycle, cross-functional, explaining complex technical issues to non-technical people, and specific industry applications. And here's the problem is I can't be in every industry. But I do need to see you at least mention it, right? So if you're in healthcare, I need to see you mention healthcare. And then if you're making circuit boards, I need you to mention circuit boards, and then maybe one or two common tools you use to make those. That's the best I can do because every FPGA job is going to want a different one of those industries and applications, but everything else is the same. So 20 seconds to find what we need, although honestly, with how tough this market is for this, we probably get like 30 to 40 seconds for this one, because when there are less people that apply, recruiters have more time to go through them. So 20 seconds on the clock. I'm just going to say 20 seconds because if they can find it in 20 seconds, then it's fantastic. All right, and go. Okay, and this is 2 lines. Worked on a 3-person team to build a 45 GPS system on okay, maybe that closely with PCB physics agile. That's cross-functional. Developed a fully pipeline Ethernet. All right, and time. So first off, I marked this because you're probably not going to get a job until 3 months prior. Are there jobs that hire people this far out? For the record, this is currently in May 18th when I'm recording this. Typically, companies will not hire you unless it's a minimum of 3 months out. Sometimes even that is too long. Now, there are some big companies like Fang and a couple of other big companies that hire this far out in advance because this is, what is August? Like 4 months out, give or take. Kind of 3 months out. Kind of 3 months out. All right, I can kind of see how this could work. But yeah, there are going to just be a lot of people that are going to reject you offhand because you're not graduating within the next 2 months. So don't panic if that happens. That's just unfortunately the way of the world. It's very rare for a company to hire much more than 3 months in advance. So for this, this should be 1 line. All right, 1 line. This needs to fit into 1 line. I don't know why it's 2 here, because this is all I really needed, right? Which is research assistant at, and then use the acronym from the school, right? You can use the acronym. Like, I graduated from California State University of Northridge. I would put CSUN, which is what people know it by. And then here is where we get to the real problems is this sentence might work, right? For telescope art arrays, this might work. Like I said, this tells me the industry, and this might be some of the applications that I wanted. This part doesn't matter that it was a 3 application team, and probably doesn't matter that it's a 45 gigabyte either, which does mean I need more because this would be 2 keywords and I need 3 minimum. And then work closely with PCP designers, physicists, and ASIC engineers. Good, that's cross-functional, but that's one. To align hardware interfaces with verified data protocols between FPGA firmware and custom ASIC. I don't know if I really need this. And again, this only has 2, and I'd prefer FPGA to be the first. Like, I'd rather you say built or compatibility or whatever, verified FPGA firmware, cross-functionally with PCB, physics, and ASIC engineers, and then something else. And then here, Verilog is good, but the rest of it I don't need. Because remember, you already used FPG here. I don't want to see you use it again down here. So that's only one, and it's still too technical. Why do I care that you networked data transfers? I don't know. I don't. Developed a FIFO. Probably all hot dogs. Probably hot dogs. This one might be a hamburger, but again, you only have one keyword, and this is probably nothing. And you still need to tell me the non-technical reasons, right? You can't just say achieving line rate FPGA to network data transfers. That means nothing. You need to put the non-technical reasons you did it. What was the point of a telescope array? Was it to look at the moon? Was it to look at the stars? What was it? I don't know. You didn't tell me. Why did you pipeline multi-cycle path constraints? I don't know. I don't have a PhD in this. You need to explain it in non-technical terms in your resume, because part of your job is going to be explaining why an analyzed STA report to resolve setup violations through pipelining and multi-cycle path constraints is important to a CEO that cannot turn on their monitor. You have to justify your job to them sometimes, and you need to speak their language, and this is showing me that you can't. So, is this the worst resume ever? No. Formatting's mostly good, but I really need better bullet points and just more of what I need, because I really don't see explaining complex topics to non-technical people, iterative development cycle, and then the rest of them is just way too technical. Next resume. This is the third iteration of a senior accountant role. This is an accountant, senior accountants. So, what do we need? We need degrees, CPA, Microsoft Office, Excel, Outlook, etc. Managing multiple active projects and deadlines, gap, attention to detail, good communication, and nice to have a general ledger system such as Oracle Fusion. This is this person's third revision, so I'm going to be extra critical. I'm going to be super omega critical because I think by the third time it should be nearly perfect. So, 20 seconds on the clock. Let's see. And go. Okay, you need to know where are you located. Oh, it's right there. Why do you do that? Accountant, good. Took leave for family matters. For this, there's a slight thing. Supervise and train teams of 1 to 3 and review financial statements for multi-billion-dollar clients. Need more information. Used Excel to analyze ledger activity and journal entries for ERP. Applying strong attention to detail. No, that's not how you count it. And time. Okay, this is not the worst, but again, you have a 5-year gap, so it's going to be tough. So first off, it should look like this. Now, maybe this is just what happens when you remove your personal information. That's fine, but it needs to look like this. There is a reason this formatting is used. It is easy to read. Please use that. This, if you got your CPA in the last year, put the date you got it. Otherwise, this is fine. And then this is good, too. I do want to see graduated, though. So just put the same thing you did here, which was status graduated. So just put it down here again. Then this, took leave for personal and family matters, which have since been resolved while earning my CPA. That's how I want you to say it. You need to state which have now been resolved, because they want to make sure that that's not going to be a problem again. So you're going to want to put has been resolved. Then, supervised and trained teams of 1 to 3 staff and reviewed financial statements. It's, again, you only have one here, right? Which is I'd say 2, because leadership counts. So we only have 2 here. I need 1 more. Then used Excel, good, but strong attention to detail to identify vacancies. No, you don't want to. You cannot just say attention to detail. What you can say is used Excel, pivot tables, and VLOOKUP to analyze multiple general ledger activities and journal entries from ERP systems, ensuring that there were no variances and all discrepancies, and it was 100% accurate or something, right? But you can't just say applying strong attention. You have to show me how you did it. You can't just say it. Manage multiple project competing deadlines through planning cross-functional. These should be the same keyword. These need to be combined, although maybe you want to move Excel to here. So you could say supervised and trained teams of 1 to 3 other accountants on generalized and accepted accounting principles, GAAP, Excel, and reviewed financial statements for our multi-billion-dollar client. Remember, this stuff needs to be in the front. So I would rather you put supervised and trained a team of 1 to 3 staff on XY, XY, XY. Probably a hot dog. Again, these can be combined. You don't need 5 bullet points for a job you've been at for almost 2 years. So shrink those up. And then I don't really see anything that much here. You're very focused on socks, which again can be a keyword, but usually it's a bonus rather than the main one. So do those things and you will stand a better chance. But we are approaching how good this resume can be, and you're just going to need to mass apply to jobs that are located near you. So next resume. This is a resume of a software engineer intern. This is the second iteration of their resume. They recently had it reviewed a while ago and made changes according to my suggestions. It still is not much success, but granted, it has not been very long. You really want at least like 2 to 3 weeks in between, just because you need to test out the new resume. I would appreciate any pointers and would like to know if I properly followed your suggestion. Thank you as always. No worries. So let's see if I can find what is good and bad here. So 20 seconds on the clock. What we need is pretty basic. Interns only need 4 things. They need the degree, a basic knowledge of whatever it is they're interning for. In this case, language, SQL, cloud, object-oriented programming. So like JavaScript, HTML, CSS, or Spring Boot and Java, or Python and Docker, I think. I can't remember. No, and Django. That would be the one. So Python and Django. I need to see the ability to work well with others and that you can take direction and criticism. So let's see what I can find in 20 seconds. And it's possible they don't have cloud, but you really want cloud. So away we go. All right, degree, good. Okay. Developed and documented solutions in Python, Java for program problems that AI models fail to solve. Engineers and select team produce solutions quicker. I need you to rewrite that, but the idea is right. Built an identification system using Python, SQL, RESTful APIs, and enable an environment to detect obstacles and street signs, foggy conditions. This should go in another one. Met biweekly with the advisor, using their feedback and Agile to refine our machine learning, and time. It's a little wordy. So do I need to know that you documented solutions? Not really. I'd rather you just say developed a... See, I don't actually know what you... I guess develop programming? I don't know what you did here. This is still a little too technical. I'd rather you say created or developed. In fact, developed in... No, used Python, C++, and Java for programming problems, right? We changed this to used. Programming problems while incorporating... I guess this was AI. For AI programming problems, right? That's what you want, AI programming problems. While incorporating feedback from senior engineers via GitHub reviews and Slack to ensure my code was accurate. That saves you a lot of space, and it's a lot easier to read. Then we go down to here. Which still, I'm not even a big fan because I don't know what you fully did here. It's still pretty technical, but that at least knocks it down to what closer to what we need. Built an identification system using Python and SQL. Good. RESTful APIs in AWS environment to detect obstacles and street signs in foggy conditions. That's it. That's all I don't know if I really need that rest of that. Met bi-weekly with an advisor, using their feedback and agile process to refine our machine learning systems, while working with team members to discuss See, the thing is, in this one up here, you already tell me how you do direction and criticism. So I'd rather you lead with the work as a team, right? I'd rather you say worked with team members in an agile development, worked with other team members in an agile process to refine our machine learning system, while we discussed each other's progress, gave each other notes, assisted when needed to ensure all of our deadlines are met. And this one is fine. I actually like this one. This is a good one. This is a good one. I like this one. Right. Did by check. I would prefer a little bit more on the non-technical side for this. But, built a systems. That's fine. So, yeah. What I would like is OOP a little bit higher up. I'd like you to shrink this sentence down. And I'd like you to lead on the second sentence with the teamwork rather than the met bi-weekly, since you already show that you have worked bi-weekly with this one. And internships are a little bit weird. You're not really showing years of experience, so you don't necessarily need to double up on some of this stuff, because if you can show you can work well with others at this job that you've been at since a little bit over a year, that kind of just proves you're solid. So I want you to make those changes and make sure you're applying within the first 100 applicants, and you should start getting a lot more interviews. So that's all I can do for this one. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. And to all of my members who get access to videos a little bit early, thank you for supporting me. If anybody else wants to support me, they can join in the link below, but just really thank you very much. I appreciate it. And if anybody needs more help, they can always join my live stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. PST on twitch.tv/headlessheadhunter or right here on YouTube. And I will see you all in the next video to help you get ahead of your job search. Later.